Welcome back to the Duty Station Download. I'm your host, Kimber, and today you get to meet Lindsey Litton, who is an Air Force spouse and the co-founder of the Mill Housing Network. I personally bought a house using agents from the Mill Housing Network. They're legit, so amazing if you're looking for real estate help at your next duty station. Anyway, Lindsey has been to several incredible duty stations, and today she's going to talk to us about her time in Colorado Springs.
This is the duty station, download across the nation. This is the duty station, download it. This is the duty station, download it.
Welcome back to the Duty Station Download, where you get the 411 on everything you need to be prepared for your next duty station. Lindsey, welcome to the Duty Station Download. Thank you for being with me today.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about Colorado. It's our forever home, so I'm a little biased.
Yeah, how did it end up being your forever home?
Well, we were stationed at San Antonio prior to coming to Colorado, and one of the things that I absolutely adored about San Antonio was that there's just so much to do. And then we moved to Colorado. It was funny because I was actually really sad. Because I didn't want to leave San Antonio. I loved it. I had built a business and a real estate team there. So I was really sad about leaving that. However, I was very fortunate and very blessed to meet the right person who is now, we're co-owners of all of our amazing entities, Karina. And so, things worked out for a reason. But when I came to Colorado, I was kind of in a funk, and then I came and I had no idea how just really awesome and just out of the gate embraced everything Colorado. I think within a month I was wearing, the Colorado hat and the Colorado shirts and was like, I am just Colorado. Here we come. And the big thing for me is just, I didn't realize how much I just love being outside, and you can be outside all year in Colorado despite the variation of weather. It's just such a cool place to be. And I see a lot of spouses in the spouse groups that say, they really dislike Colorado, and it hurts my heart because I feel like if you just embrace the outdoors, that you too will love Colorado.
That's amazing. I love that you said that. And when we previously talked about Colorado, I've lived in Denver and I've visited Colorado Springs and Boulder and all of those areas. And I know it's so green, it's lush, there's the mountains. So can you tell us, when you first moved there and you realized, hey, this ain't so bad, what were the things that started making you realize, hey, this is might be one of the greatest places I've ever been?
I will say that it started on our house hunting trip. So we'll start there. My husband and I flew grandma into San Antonio so grandma could stay with our kids. So at the time we had babies. They were they're still babies. They're 8 and 10 now, and they don't like it. Mom's so not cool, and I'm not a baby, but you will forever be my babies. But they were, at the time 4 and 6. No, they were younger than that. They were 5 and 3. So my mom flew in, and me and Ruben, my husband, flew into Colorado. And San Antonio is green. I mean, it's green, luscious. It's South Texas. We have rolling hills, no mountains, but rolling hills. And we flew into Denver, rented a convertible because we happened to get some sort of crazy upgrade from our Ford Fiesta into a Mustang convertible. And we're like, this is cool. This was the first time that we had been alone without kids too. So we drove from Denver into Colorado. And when you drive from Denver into Colorado, it's just mountains and green, and you're just like, holy cow, I didn't realize how much I missed the mountains. And you cruise into the city, and it was just love at first sight. We drove past the Air Force Academy. You see the big stadium, you see the big mountain, Cheyenne Mountain and the Front Range. And I was just like, this is cool. We pulled into our hotel, and our hotel looks straight at the mountain, and it had a golf course. And I just remember like taking pictures thinking like, I can't believe we're going to get to live here.
That's fantastic.
And it was just so much fun.
So the excitement was unbridled.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And then when we moved, I was emotionally sad from, leaving San Antonio, but, we embraced and just got out and did. I will say that it's an elevation change. And so for the first 6 months, you're kind of breathless, and it takes a while to get used to living a mile high, because we're about 7,000 feet, depending on what part of the city you live in. So that was an adjustment, but after 6 months, you're totally acclimated, and then, you kind of embrace all the things. But I got into almost every outdoor thing imaginable that I would have probably never experienced had I not lived in Colorado.
Where's your favorite place to ski in Colorado?
So we've skied all over, and it's so funny because my kids, so if you're active duty military or retired and you like to ski, I want to tell you about something amazing. It's called the Military Epic Pass. You can ski with no blackout dates anywhere there's an Epic resort, which is a Vail resort. So even Whistler is on the list. If you're overseas, there's European resorts that are on the list. $150 per person you can ski. So we get our military Epic passes every year. We all as military need to write Vail and tell them thank you, because one ticket at a Vail resort is usually $250. So you get to ski the entire season for $150. But we love Vail. Vail is one of our favorite resorts to ski. The mountain is huge. You never have lift lines. I mean, knock on wood, lift lines. But you can ski the entire mountain and zip down to a lift, get right back on and back up. Their ski school is amazing for kids. My kids learned to ski at Vail, and they just, it's so funny because it's a very high-end resort, but you're skiing there at a very discounted price, with your military Epic Pass. And before COVID, they would actually, at a certain time of day, they would serve you a hot waffle at the bottom of the lift, which was always fun. So Vail is one of our favorites. Now, I will say that Crested Butte has become our most favorite resort as of recently, and it's just because it's more down to earth, not as commercialized, and just way more about skiing and enjoying the mountain. Less tourists are there. However, Texas and Oklahoma come in and ski a lot in Crested Butte because they have a direct flight out of Houston. But we love Crested Butte, and Crested Butte year round in Colorado is just phenomenal. It's one of my favorite places in Colorado.
Thanks, Lindsey. I appreciate that. I snowboarded in Loveland Pass and at Winter Park when I was living in Denver before I was a military spouse, and I hated it. But it sounds like you have definitely found your calling. I've never skied. It's always been snowboarding, and I spent most of the time, every time I did it, on my back or on my rear. So I have to try skiing. I hear that it might be better for me.
I started as a snowboarder, then ended up skiing. I was fine as a snowboarder, but yes, the reason why I decided to go ski is I said I was tired of being on my rear end 90% of the time. So try skiing.
Thank you. Take us through any cons that we need to be aware of if we're moving there.
Let's see. Cons. Okay, so some people don't enjoy the snow and how long our winters can be. So I will say for some people, that can be a con. It can be daunting to constantly be shoveling your driveway, especially when your spouse is deployed. Get a snowblower. That makes life better. But, I kind of chose to see it as like, okay, instead of like really hating it and staying inside, what could I do to get outside and enjoy it? So one of my favorite things to do, I'm a runner, is I love to run on fresh snow. I can't describe how fun it is. So you can get some gaiters for your shoes. And these are all things I didn't even know about before I lived in Colorado. But you get gaiters that hook on your shoes so your socks and your legs don't get wet, and you can just run on fresh snow. And it is probably one of the best feelings possible, and it's one of the things that when I see fresh snow, my immediate thought is I gotta get my running shoes and let's go, because
you're like a little rabbit.
Oh yeah, you gotta put your hat on, you get out, you kind of bundle a little bit, not too much bundle because you get hot, but it's just quiet because the snow dampens all the noise. You can't really hear much. It's quiet, and if you get out before everybody shovels it, you're the first tracks. It's just awesome. It's just awesome.
No, you're not alone. Like, there's this phenomenon in nature where after a fresh blanket of snow hits the ground, you'll see all of these little critters coming out and just pouncing on it. Everybody loves to play in snow, even the animals. So I can understand. And I love how you turned that into a positive, where you took something that might be daunting and just embraced it. So I think that's incredibly important for service members and for military spouses. You got to embrace what's coming. You didn't sign up for this adventure for nothing, you know?
But how fun to be able to like live in an area. You know, it's not going to be forever, but
yeah,
how
it's not
fun
forever.
to just say like, okay, for the next 3 years, I'm going to do this, you know?
Yeah.
When we lived at Cannon, Cannon can be really hard because it's kind of a funky place. There's not a lot to do. There's not a lot of shopping. It's flat. It's brown. It smells like cows because you're surrounded by feedlots.
I love cows.
You don't love cows when you smell them all the time. So I turned it into a positive. I said, all right, I'm going to love to learn how to distance run. And I will be forever grateful for Clovis, because that's where I fell in love with distance running. I ran I ran 24 miles living in Clovis because it's flat and you can just run forever by yourself. Out in the middle of nowhere.
This has been another incredible installment of the Duty Station Download. Special thanks to our guest, Lindsey Litton, for telling us everything we need to know about Colorado Springs. If you would like to recommend an episode that we cover on the Duty Station Download, email us at podcast@vertforce.us. See you in the next episode.